The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Greetings, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to my new Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast series. We have been overwhelmed with the responses that people have shared from listening to these messages on my SiriusXM show over the years. Those listeners, and they're sharing my show with their network, telling people about it, telling their family members, their friends, and their coworkers about this show and the impact it's having on their lives. That's the main reason that this show is now #1 for self-help in America, and I'm very grateful. Yet, we realize that many people do not have satellite radio and therefore could not experience for themselves the message. They could not get it for themselves. So we are now sharing these messages with everyone via this new podcast. Enjoy it and share it with your network. And let's help even more people to do more, be more, and achieve more. Tell everybody so that they can live a Wealthy Ways life as well. Welcome to the new Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. And remember, your best is yet to come.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I am excited about another opportunity to be on with you. You have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. It's forced upon you. You can't refuse it. You didn't seek it. You didn't choose it, but it's up to you to use it. You must suffer. If you lose it, give account. If you abuse it, it's just a tiny little minute, but your eternity's all wrapped up in it. Well, I want to greet you and thank you for taking time out to listen to this show today, and thank you for listening, whether it's on radio, on podcast, wherever you're listening, or online, wherever, that you are here with us, and I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful also for you for the fact that you have been so wonderful to tell your friends, your family members, your co-workers about Dr. Willie Jolley and his show and the impact it's had on you. And you got so many folks who are joining every week. Our podcast is exploding, and our numbers on XM are exploding because of you. Thank you so much, and continue to visit williejolly.com/gift, williejolly.com/gift, and get some of the free resources we have there for you. Now, you know, if you know me, I start every show with that 1 minute, which is God's Minute, which was from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s mentor, Dr. Benjamin Mays, who he was mentored while he was at Morehouse College. Dr. Mays wrote that 1 minute, and it's called God's Minute. And I take a moment at the beginning of every show to start with that minute and take a moment to thank God for life and strength and health. I thank God for, and I just give God glory for another opportunity to be on air. I'm grateful for the air time. I'm grateful for the books. I'm grateful for the speeches. I'm grateful for the music. I'm grateful for all those, but most of all, I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for life. Every day I'm here, I'm grateful. And I believe that every day above ground is a good day. If you don't believe it, try missing one, as Zig Ziglar used to say. So that said, I give God glory for every time I get another opportunity to be here on this earth and every day. So I'm grateful, and I give God glory. Now, I want to welcome those who have been part of our goal-setting process that we've been working on. And if you didn't get involved in that, you can go to williejolly.com/webinar, williejolly.com/webinar to figure out how to grow yourself, grow your goals, and make your best self and achieve greater results. So williejolly.com/webinar. Now, my guest today, this is a gentleman who I have been wanting to have on this show for quite a while. He is tremendously busy, and I'm grateful for his being able to be here. He is a thinker extraordinaire. He is a gentleman who has had an incredible success story and an incredible success journey. He is known as one of the world's leading and innovative business minds. He is the author of several provocative, best-selling, New York Times best-selling books. His books have been translated into over 33 different languages. He has been all over sharing his message. You can see him on TED. His TED Talk is very popular. He is a prolific speaker, writer. He is he was a speechwriter actually for Al Gore from 95 to 97, as well as worked for U.S. Labor Secretary Robert Reich and positions in politics and government. He holds a BA degree and a JD degree. He's a lawyer as well. He's the author of the book, of New York Times best-selling book, A Whole New Mind, which Oprah loves, the #1 best-selling book, Drive, and many others. We have a new book called Win, and it is thought-provoking. I mean, just this guy, the way he thinks is just, I just have to say it's transformational. I'm grateful to have him on today, Daniel Pink. Dan, are you there?
I am here. Thanks for having me on the program. It's great to be with you.
Well, I gave them the thumbnail sketch about who you are, where you come from. I didn't actually ask you where you come from, because all I know is that you worked at the White House and for Secretary Reich. But tell us a little more about where you come from and your background.
Well, I grew up in Columbus, Ohio.
Woohoo! I love Columbus. Yeah.
Do you really?
I do.
What do you love about Columbus?
The fish market.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that fish market restaurant is dynamite, and I have written about it in my book, An Attitude of Excellence. So yeah.
Nice. So I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, Central Ohio. Kind of a pretty middle class kind of upbringing in a community that was not diverse in the least.
Yeah.
What my graduating class in public high school had 180 people in it and 0 African Americans.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I didn't. It was sort of thing as like a white guy. Like I didn't really think about it.
Right. Sure.
But in retrospect, I'm like, what? 2 Hispanic students, 1 Hispanic student, and 2 Asian American students.
Wow.
It's pretty incredible. When I think about, the world we live in, the America we live in today.
Right.
So I went to college and majored in linguistics. Ended up working a little bit, then went to law school. Decided not to practice law. Ended up working in politics. Was a speechwriter for a while, as you mentioned, Willie, and then in my early 30s, I quit that job because I didn't want to spend the rest of my life working in politics, and I knew that I wanted to write my own stuff, and so I went out on my own. It wasn't this crazy major risk. My wife did not give up her job; she did not give up her health insurance.
Good, smart man.
And, yes, indeed, and we said, let's give it a couple of years and see what happens. And that was 20 years ago. And so since then, I've spent a lot of my time. The core of it really is just writing books.
Yeah.
And
great books at that. You write great books. Okay. Thanks.
And I live here in Washington, your hometown of Washington, D.C.
Yep.
And I have I've actually never had an office outside of my home. I'm talking to you right now from the garage behind my house on Idaho Avenue.
Wow. You're my kind of guy. Okay, first of all, is that you married well. That's first. I married well as well. I'm going into 34th year, and
oh wow.
And my wife and I have a whole marriage part of our business. We have a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last that is just blowing up or continues to sell well. And we do marriage seminars. But so you married well, and which is one of the things I recommend people do. Second is you have your overhead over your head. Okay, that's what I have.
Okay, I'm so with you on that.
Yes.
Willie, I actually, seriously, I had last week somebody say to me, like, what advice do you have for people who are starting their own business or wanting to go out on their own? And truly, I said, low overhead.
That's right.
Low overhead. I'm obsessed with low overhead.
Me.
The only thing I spend money on is technology and talent.
Yes.
There I feel like I don't want to skimp.
Woo,
but beyond that, I in 20 years I've never had an office outside of my home. I take a lot of my notes on the back of printouts and things that I haven't recycled yet, so I use the second side of the paper. my accountant is often complaining that I don't have enough expenses. So yeah, low overhead. Low overhead is one of the secrets to survival.
Absolutely. And folks, let me tell you how we met. We met because we both have the same computer geek guru lady, and she takes care of both of our offices, and she's reasonable. Okay, so anyway, that's how we've met. I knew of his work and vice versa. So how did you start? Here's what is intriguing about you is the way you think. Okay, now part of that is the law school training. My son is a lawyer, and even though he doesn't practice law per se, he does a lot of things around law. It's the critical thinking skills I know make a major difference. But how did you get to think so what we would call countercultural? You not like everybody else, which makes your book so intriguing.
I don't know. It's great. I mean, you know, I appreciate your saying that. You know, I think it's if it's anything, it's just being a curious person.
Maybe that's it.
I find that the older I get, the more I look at people, and like I don't like to spend time with people who aren't curious.
I got you.
You know, and so curious. I think it's partly curiosity. Also, I do think that it's important in that. You know, it's interesting. Like when we think about being, you know, should one be a specialist or should one be a generalist? And I think the answer is yes.
I like that.
You know, and so I do think you have to have some depth. You definitely have to have some depth and expertise. But if that's all you have, it's not quite enough. So I also think it's important to, you know, talk to people from different backgrounds, talk to people from different professions, read across a wide range of topics and things like that. I see people who are, you know, some people who read only business books, or people who read only spy novels, or people who read only American history. And, you know, I think you got to broaden your horizons a little bit.
I love that. I recently heard someone say that the key to their success was being willing, I think it was Mark Victor Hansen, being willing to learn across a broad spectrum of information and getting information from lots of different touch points. Now, you have a book, the first book that really blew you up was it To Sell Is Human, or A Whole New Mind, or Drive? Which one was the first one that?
A Whole New Mind came out. A Whole New Mind came out before those other two.
Okay, and A Whole New Mind is the one that Oprah gave away to lots of people. What was the secret in that book?
Well, the idea in that book is this, that it's really about the book is really, which the book now is about 10 years. A little over 10 years old, and it's about 12 years old, I think now. And the argument in that book is about the nature of work. And the idea here is this, and I use a metaphor to describe the future of what's happening in the workplace. So think about our brains. Our brains are divided in half. You have your left hemisphere and your right hemisphere. There's been a lot of stupid stuff written about left brain and right brain, but what neuroscientists know is that our brains have done a reasonably efficient job of dividing up tasks. So each of the hemispheres has different specialties. The left hemisphere specializes in tasks that are logical, linear, sequential. The right hemisphere specializes in tasks that are more about context rather than text, about processing things simultaneously rather than sequentially, and about synthesis rather than analysis. And that division of labor in the brain, I think, offers a powerful metaphor for the nature of work and jobs going forward. And it used to be that the most important abilities.
Hold that thought. I'm going to come back. I'm going to jump back in and right there because I want to get the rest of this and everybody's
all right.
We're going to be right back, folks. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. And for sure, your best is yet to come. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and if you're enjoying this information you're hearing on this podcast, I want to invite you to get even more great information on my new free gift page on my website. Go to wjspeaks.com and hit the All Access badge. On that page, you will find information and resources specifically designed to help you to have greater success. Free ebooks, music, all sorts of interesting and informational interviews from my XM show. I'm telling you, this is a great page. And why do I do it? Because I've learned that the more we give, the more we get. And the more we help other people to grow and go to the next level, the more we receive in our business. So we want to help you. Tell your friends about it. Go to Facebook and get my information. Go to my website, get my free resources, and get on wjspeaks.com and hit that All Access badge. It looks like a backstage pass. Click it. You'll get behind the scenes information to the special page to help you grow. All we want in return, all we ask is that you pass it on, because the more you give, the more you get. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude.
It's about your attitude. 1 8-letter word that has such a big impact on your success or your failure. Attitude, not just about a disposition, but also about how you see the world, how you see life. Do you see it from a negative perspective, or do you see it from a positive perspective? It's your choice. It's about your attitude. See, my friend Keith Harrell wrote a book called Attitude is Everything, and he wasn't lying. Attitude truly is everything. It's about how you view things, how you perceive things, and how you go after things. Can you control the time? No. Can you control the weather? No. Can you control what other people say or do? No. You can only control you and your attitude. And your attitude to life determines your altitude in life. It's about your attitude. And we're back. Dr. Willie Jolley across America, border to border, coast to coast, as well as in other countries now. We are talking to people on our radio and podcast, and I'm grateful for you. And I have a special guest here. He's the best-selling, New York Times best-selling author of a number of books. And we're talking, his name is Daniel Pink. For those who don't know, watch his TED Talk. It is dynamite. And we are talking about his book, A Whole New Mind, and the fact that it talks about a new way of seeing about the nature of work. You were telling us brains are divided in half, our brains have different tasks, and you're getting ready to go into detail. Share us a little more.
Sure thing, yeah. So again, our brains have, you've got the left hemisphere. It does tasks that are logical, linear, sequential, analytical. The right hemisphere specializes in tasks that are about, as I said before the break, simultaneous processing, about context rather than text, about synthesis rather than analysis. And that division of labor in the brain, I think, yields a very powerful metaphor for understanding what's going on in the world of work. And it basically goes like this. It used to be that the most important abilities in business were these abilities characteristic of the left hemisphere: logical, linear, sequential, what I like to call SAT spreadsheet abilities. And today, those abilities, they're absolutely necessary. I want to make that very clear. They're absolutely necessary, but they're not sufficient. They're not enough. And it's really a different set of abilities that we haven't really favored that much, abilities that we've often overlooked, abilities that we've kind of undervalued, that are now the most important ones in business and work. Abilities like artistry, empathy, inventiveness, big picture thinking, those abilities that are more characteristic of the right hemisphere of the brain. And the reason this is happening is that these certain kinds of logical, linear SAT spreadsheet abilities, they're relatively easy to outsource. That is, you can drop a spec sheet, send it overseas, and someone in the Philippines can do it for considerably less. And they're also relatively easy to automate. And we see that now with rudimentary software like TurboTax. Going forward, we're going to see things, certain aspects of artificial intelligence that are going to be able to do these very routine left brain functions better, faster, more accurately than human beings can. And so it's a look at what the future of work looks like, and it really is prizing a set of skills that I think we haven't taken seriously enough in this country.
And I assume creativity would be part of that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And so it's things like, can you think like a designer?
Wow.
Can you think symphonically? That is, putting all the pieces together. Do you have empathy? Do you understand people's search for meaning? And these things that seem superficially a little touchy-feely, squishy-wishy, but actually, if you look at what's happening in labor markets across the industrial, the so-called advanced economies, that's what is happening. A lot of these things, if you think about it in terms of families, like it used to be that you could, there's certain kinds of jobs that would automatically get you into the middle class.
Right.
So at first it was factory jobs. You could leave high school, get a decent job, literally straight out of high school, and have a decent middle class standard of living. And what happened is that those jobs began disappearing, and parents and counselors said, hey, you got to do something else. You got to try to get a college degree if you can. You got to go become an accountant. You got to go become, maybe become a lawyer or something like that. And it turns out that a lot of these lawyer accountant abilities are easy to outsource.
Wow.
They're easy to automate.
Wow.
And so those kinds of skills become less important, and skills that are harder to outsource and automate become more important. And those are the kinds of things that, are in some ways fundamentally human abilities, like you said, Willie, creativity, things like empathy, things that it's very hard to write on, to reduce to a spec sheet, to reduce to lines of code, and that therefore become more valuable.
Wow. That's brilliant. You're absolutely right. My wife and I often talk about how we see technology taking jobs, moving jobs, and the fact that if you're not thinking innovatively, creatively, then you're going to become, how did Les Brown say it? If you're not, if you become expendable, if you don't expand your mind and expand your, you become expendable. And so you must expand or become expendable. And that's how our thinking must be. Well, that book obviously has been massively successful. And then you wrote a book called Drive about motivation. And I thought that was, because a motivational speaker, I was intrigued by that. Give us a little bit about what Drive is. Then we're going to get in the Win book.
Sure. Then we can talk about the other one, too, to sell as human.
Yeah.
So that book, the book Drive, looks at the science of motivation. And about 50 years of research in economics and psychology, in cognitive science, about what really motivates people, especially on the job. And it turns out that motivation is complicated. And we often in our businesses and work don't treat it in a sufficiently multidimensional way. And what do I mean by that? So let's think about human motivation here for a second. Human beings have one human motivation is we drink when we're hungry, we eat when we drink when we're thirsty, we eat when we're hungry.
Right.
All right. So that's a human motivation, no question.
Right.
But that doesn't fully define you or me, right? We're more than that, right? So there's another dimension of human motivation, in that we respond very often, very effectively to rewards and punishments. In many cases, if you reward behavior, you will get more of it. If you punish behavior, you'll get less of it.
Right.
In many cases.
And
so that's another dimension of human motivation, but I don't think that fully describes human beings, because it misses another drive that we have, which is the drive to do things because we like them, because they're interesting, because they're challenging, because they're part of who we are, because they contribute to the world, because they do some good. And what we need to do is have this multidimensional view of motivation. And in particular, the one animating idea in all of this is that there's a certain kind of motivator that we use in organizations. Psychologists call it a controlling contingent motivator. I call it an if-then reward, as in if you do this, then you get that. And we use a lot of if-then rewards in organizations. And what the research tells us very clearly is that if-then rewards are very effective for simple tasks with short time horizons. They work extremely well. Human beings love rewards. Dangle a reward in somebody, they will focus very narrowly on getting the reward. So if-then rewards are effective for simple tasks with short time horizons, but there's a pile of evidence in social science telling us that if-then rewards do not work very well for complex creative tasks with longer time horizons. Because for those kinds of tasks, you want to have a widened focus, you want to have an expansive view, and if-then rewards, by their very nature, their very purpose, is to narrow our focus. And so what we need to do as more and more jobs become about creative thinking, about conceptual thinking, about doing things with not stuffing envelopes in an hour, but doing projects and things that require weeks and months and sometimes years. What we need to do is come up with a new motivational regime for these more complex creative tasks. And the science gives us clues to that. It involves paying people well, and then giving them a sense of autonomy, some self-direction, some control over what they do and how they do it, giving them a sense of mastery, which is the capacity to make progress, get better at something that matters, and giving them a sense of purpose. So people know that what they're doing is making a difference or making a contribution. And it turns out that alternative approach to motivation, built on healthy salaries and autonomy, mastery, and purpose, is a far better, far more scientifically accurate way to promote motivation in organizations that are doing more complicated work.
Wow. So that's drive.
That's drive.
So we got a whole new mind that Oprah said, a book I just couldn't put down. Then we got drive, which Malcolm Gladwell said was just provocative. Then finally, To Sell is Human is the next book. Just a little bit about that before we get to Win.
Sure. So that book is about selling, not surprisingly, and it makes two arguments, really. One of them is that if you look at what people do on the job all day, it's selling. Whether they have sales in their job title or not, we're persuading, influencing, convincing all the time. It's a big part of everybody's job. It's not in most people's job descriptions, but it's essential to what they do.
Right.
The second thing is that when we're selling and persuading, whether we're selling a car, whether we're selling consulting services, whether we're selling home electronics, whatever, we're doing it in a very different world. Most of what we've known about sales over the, in this country, basically almost all of commerce and human civilization, most of what we know about sales has come from a world of information asymmetry, where the seller always had more information than the buyer.
Yes.
When the seller has more information than the buyer, the seller can rip you off. Information asymmetry is why we have the principle of buyer beware. Buyers have to beware because the sellers know a lot more. But what's happened in the last 10 years or so is that those scales have started to even out. And so now you have this world that's less and less about information asymmetry. And you see this in basically every realm of sale. You can go, like you go to buy, 20 years ago, you go to buy a car, that car dealer is going to know a lot more about Toyotas, a lot more about Toyota Camrys than you ever will. But today, people are going into those Toyota dealers with the factory invoice price of the car.
Right.
And so what you have is you have this world that's moved from sales, from information asymmetry to information parity. That's a very, very different world, and it abides by a different set of rules. And if you look at the social science of what it takes to persuade people, what it suggests is a different set of personal qualities and even tactical skills. In particular, skills like attunement, which is can you get out of your own head and see things from someone else's point of view. What I call the new ABCs. The old ABCs of sales will always be closing. The new ABCs are attunement, get out of your own head, see things from someone else's point of view. Buoyancy, stay afloat in the ocean of rejection that is sales. And finally, clarity. Can you go from making sense of information rather than having privileged access to information? And can you go from identifying hidden problems rather than actually solving existing problems? And so it's a book about how to do that effectively and ethically.
Wow. Hold that thought. We're going to be right back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. We're taking a break for station identification on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and for years I've told people that in order to have a greater life, it starts by having greater individual days. If you have a great day and you repeat that great day 7 times, you've had a great week. And you repeat that week 4 times, you've had a greater month. And then repeat that month 12 times, you've had a greater year, and you're on your way to a greater life. And it starts with that individual day. I recommend you start each day with something powerful. I call it the pure, the powerful, and the positive. Rather than starting your day with bad news, how many people got killed or how many children got snatched or how many fires there were, I recommend you start your day with something to inspire and empower and encourage you to make this day a great day. We're excited to announce the start of Jolley TV on my Facebook page. Go to Willie Jolley, Willie.Jolley on Facebook. Just go to Willie.Jolley on Facebook and get ready for a great day and a great life. Have a great day on purpose. And we're back with my special guest, Dan Pink, and he is the author of numerous, just compelling books about new ways of thinking. And it's really about thinking. Isn't that what your book's primarily about? It's thinking and social science and and
No, I like that. It's really about thinking.
It is really about thinking.
Yeah. It's really about how do we think about what we do, and even the word think is a good word in that it suggests that you're doing something with intention, you're doing something that is based on facts and evidence, and you're doing something that is carefully considered. So I like that.
Right. I love it. Now, so we have, the first book was A Whole New Mind, then Drive into Sell as Human, and now his new book is out and is doing incredibly well. It's called Win. W-H-E-N. Win. Like when we go to the store or when we do something. The Scientific Secret of Perfect Timing. And I love when I was reading it, I'm earmarking it, and one thing that caught me just immediately, think of this book as a new genre altogether. Not a how-to book, but a when-to book. Ooh, that was good. That was real good.
Thanks.
That was real
Thanks.
good. So tell me the premise of what When is about and how you came to it and what it's all about.
So this book is about timing, and we, as you mentioned, we make all kinds of timing and when decisions in our life. So we think about, when in the day should I exercise? When should I do this kind of work? Even things like, when should I start a project? When should I abandon a project that's not working? And we tend to make these decisions based on intuition, based on guesswork, sometimes just based on defaults.
Right.
And that's the wrong way to do it. Because it turns out there is this rich body of science out there across many, many disciplines that gives us, once again, if we think about it, the evidence, the data, the science of how to make systematically better, smarter decisions about when to do things. And so this book looks at questions like this. When in the day should you do certain kinds of work? So how does the hidden pattern of the day affect when you do certain tasks during the course of a day? There's a whole chapter on breaks. So why are breaks much more important than we realize? But also beyond even a given day, the cycle of a day, we can think about timing in a broader sense. How do beginnings affect us? How do midpoints affect us? How do endings affect us? Then we can think about things like, how do groups coordinate in time? And there's some remarkable research, some really fascinating stuff on how do groups coordinate in time, whether it is a rowing team, whether it is a choir. How are people able to do that, and what does it mean? And then even some things on how does the very way we think about time shape our behavior. So this is a look at the science of timing, what it tells us, and then it's filled with all kinds of tools and tips and takeaways to put the ideas into action.
And in the book, you talk about really detailed science that might go against the traditional thinking of the pattern of day. We don't take when as seriously as we take questions of what, and we should.
Right.
We should, not just what, is when. Because we kind of,
exactly.
we poo-poo when. I'll do it whenever.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do. And that's a big mistake. That's a big mistake, Willie, because here's what we know. So even if you just take a day, all right, just a given day, what we know from this research, and this is not a close call, what we know from this research is that our brain power does not stay the same throughout the day. It changes.
Wow.
It changes in significant ways. It changes in predictable ways. And in many cases, the difference between the daily high point and the daily low point can be extreme. And so what we need to do is I'm going to just offer up your word again here.
Yeah.
What we need to do is think about when we do things. Not just go on autopilot, not just feel a way through, but think. And what we know is that people are better. Our brains work differently at different times of day. And you see a massive amount of evidence for this. Let me give you a couple of examples. Let's take students taking standardized tests. There's an important study out of Denmark. And here's what it showed. 2 million Danish students take these regular standardized tests. They take these tests on computers. But the typical Danish school has more students than computers, so everybody cannot take the test at the same time. So the kids are randomly assigned to take the test at different times of day. Some take them early, some take them late. Here's what they found out. Kids who were just randomly assigned to take the test in the afternoon scored as if they had missed 2 weeks of school.
Wow.
Think about that. I know. Think about that. Whoa. That's a big deal. Or if you look at, there's some great research out of the LA Unified School District. This research was done by Nolan Pope, who's an economist at the University of Chicago. He looked at again a couple of million of student profiles and scores and things like that. He found that kids who took math in the morning had better grades, scored higher on test scores, learned more math than kids who took math in the afternoon. And so I'm gonna just keep sort of using your word really as a chorus for this. All right, we need to think about this. And when we schedule things in school, we don't think about what are the implications of it. We just care about logistics, and there are big differences. You see this most glaring. It's just so much stuff. You see this most glaringly in healthcare. Right. Like at this point, in my family, we do not go to important doctor's appointments. We do not schedule important doctor's appointments or any discretionary visits to the hospital in the afternoon, period. The evidence is overwhelming. If you think about anesthesia errors are 4 times more likely at 3 p.m. than at 9 a.m. Wow. Hand washing in hospitals deteriorates considerably in the afternoon. So people working in hospitals are much more likely to wash their hands in mornings than in afternoons. If you look at doctors prescribing unnecessary antibiotics, much more likely to prescribe unnecessary antibiotics in afternoon appointments than they are in morning appointments. And so there are, so what this research shows is that we have to. I'm going to use your chorus again. We have to think about when we do things. Man, this is all times incredible. Of day are not all times of day are not created equal, and this is a really like an urgent. It's an urgent point, and most individuals and organizations really don't take this into account. We don't think enough about the when of our work, and it matters. It matters in pretty significant ways. I mean, that thing about doctors. I tend to always ask for morning appointments when I go for my physical, and now I did it primarily because usually when I go for a physical, I have to fast, and I say, well, let me get it over with and get this done so I can have something to eat that afternoon rather than just going all day. But that is so profound. Let me tell you something that spoke to me when I was reading this. I thought of the fact as a speaker, I've been speaking over 25 years, and I've learned that humor, or when I also add music in my programs, but when people will say, can you put more music in? I'll tell them not in the morning. No, not in the morning, because the people are cognitive in the morning. Their brains are awake. They want to think. Their minds are thinking. Now, I can do a lot of music. I add it throughout the day. I add it in a little more as it gets to the evening. Now, when I get past 6 o'clock,
don't give them anything cognitive. You give them some little, you don't want to give them more humor and more laughing because their minds are different. Their thinking is different. I've learned this over years of speaking, and that's why people who we in our speaking industry call humorists, or really comedians, tend to get more after dinner speeches where people want to laugh. And so you're right on with this, that this whole win is more than just a flippant kind of experience. It really is critical. Now you say, but we believe timing is an art, but in reality it's a science, and research draws from dozens of disciplines: economics, social science, psychology, anesthesiology, and more, can help you make more systematic, better win decisions at home, work, and the same. Isn't that amazing? How did you come with this how did this pop in your brain, man? I'm intrigued about how you think. I keep going. How did you get to this?
You're giving me way too much credit. Here's how I got to it. I was frustrated because I was making these decisions myself. I was making decisions about when to do stuff. When in the day should I exercise? And I'm like, well, when? I don't know. When should I? And I'm looking around for guidance, and it doesn't exist. When in the day should I be doing my writing? When in the day should I be doing my interviews? And so I'm like, wow, I'm making these decisions in a real, I'm not thinking about these decisions. I'm just making them in a pretty haphazard way. And so I started looking around for guidance, and it didn't exist. And then out of curiosity, I started looking around at the science because, I spent a lot of my time looking at scientific research and seeing what are the implications what implications does it hold for how what we do and how we do it. And I started looking around at the science, and I was like, holy smokes, there is this huge amount of science out there that no one is talking about. And that's how I got into it.
Wow.
But the catalyst really was my own personal frustration. I was looking, at some level, I wrote this book because I wanted to read it, and no one else had written it. And no one else had written it yet.
Wow. Okay, before we go too far, I want people to be able to get the book, as well as get in touch with you, as well as know how to contact you. So first, where can they get the book? When?
Oh, you can get the book at any bookseller, so any chain bookseller, national chain bookseller like Barnes & Noble. You can go to your local independent store, which we all should be supporting. You can buy it from online vendors like Amazon.com. It's also available at most public libraries as well. Okay,
great. And where can people reach you, learn more about you? What's your website?
They can go to my website at www.danpink.com, DANPINK.com, danpink.com.
Great. And people, I want you to check him out. Go in his TED Talk. It's intriguing how he thinks. I love when I'm around people and I talk to people who stimulate my mind, who stimulate my thinking. And Dan Pink does that, and he has done that in his books and in his conversations. I want to get into this whole thing about when you should take breaks, and I'm going to get ready to take a break because I want to come back here and talk about naps. I have learned the power of a nap, and and you talk about it's not something to blow off. Many people blow off. It's really powerful. And some of the great thinkers of time, Einstein and Edison, many of them would make it a part of their daily routine to take a nap to refresh their brain. And they weren't doing it just to refresh or to get a shut-eye. And there are countries where it is built into the daily routine that you must have a siesta time. We're going to come right back with Dan Pink. This is some incredible, intriguing information, and I'm telling you, it'll help you have greater success. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and for sure, the best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
Life had enough ups and downs, but Lord, since I met you.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and people often ask, how did I go from a broke, busted nightclub singer to become a best-selling author and to be voted one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by the 175,000 members of Toastmasters International? The answer is that I decided to invest and change my thinking, invest in my mindset, and decided to change my inputs because inputs determine outputs. I heard about a seminar years ago when I was just getting started. I was making about $100 a speech. And I heard this seminar that was creating millionaires, and it cost $10,000, but the guy was getting results. I didn't have that kind of money, but I decided to borrow it because I learned that there's a price for success, the price of college, the price of going to school, the price of education. And there's a price for success, and then there's a cost for not paying the price, the cost of staying the same. And that cost is greater than the price. It's too expensive. And so I went and it changed my life. And I came back and quickly made $100,000. I heard a similar story from Dr. Dave Martin, how he went to a success rally, heard a speaker who inspired him. He and his friend said, wow, that's changed my life. The speaker had a package of materials to help build wealth. The package cost $1,500. And that was all the money Dr. Dave had to his name. Dr. Dave's friend asked, do you think this stuff is worth it? Dr. Dave thought for a moment. He said, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. But I do know that I'm worth it. I'm worth it. He invested that money in that package and used the materials to grow his thinking. He grew his mindset. He shared how that $1,500 investment has gone on to generate millions in revenues. He's a multimillionaire. And he has homes now in Arizona and Florida. I want to say to you, it's time to invest in you. I want to give you some materials that will help you, grow your mindset, grow your future, grow your finances. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire. wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get some materials that will inspire your success and help you find that there's a price for success, but there's a cost for not paying the price. And the cost is always greater than the price. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire and get the bag, the box, or any of the materials there and keep growing your wealth. And remember, as a man thinketh, so as he is, and your best is yet to come. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. And again, I want to thank all of you who've been telling Lottie Dottie and everybody about this show, about the podcast, about Willie Jolley. I want you to continue to do so. And thank you for those who've invited me to come speak for your organizations. My new book, An Attitude of Excellence. I just got back from Trinidad and other countries with the book. And I'm grateful for you all for sharing that. If you want to get a free chapter from the book, An Attitude of Excellence, go to attitudeofexcellence.com. Get a free chapter. And when you buy the book, buy one for people in your team, because the book is built on the premise that great people give great service, good people give good service, mediocre people give mediocre service, and negative people will kill your future and your organization. And so if you are getting it for yourself and you know that you have some room for improvement, someone said, what's the biggest room in the world? There's room for improvement. Then get the book and get some for your family members and friends and co-workers. My guest today, in its Attitude of Excellence, by the way. My guest today is the author of the book, Win. He's also the author of a number of best-selling, New York Times best-selling books. I like the way he thinks. I just am intrigued by the way he thinks. He is a former speechwriter for Al Gore, and then he took a leap of faith. He went out on his own to start sharing his ideas, and the books have been phenomenal. His success has been incredible. And he also makes it a point that his most important success is his family life. So that's my kind of guy. How long you been married, by the way?
We have been married for 23 years.
Man, my man, you're probably in my club. I'm in the over married club. I'm way over married, and she hadn't figured it out. Yeah. All right.
I won't tell her.
Don't tell her. I won't tell her. You just don't tell my wife that I'm not worthy. Okay. Now, his book Win is scientific information on perfect time. It's not about what you do all the time. It's also about when you do it. And there's something in here about the hidden powers of the patterns of the day. He talked a little bit about that, when you should write, when you should be creative, when you should exercise, when you should do this or that. But he also talks the power of naps. The emergent science of breaks is showing that breaks are not deviations from performance. They're essential to performance. And many of the big major think tank companies, Google and so forth, where they're in creative mode, they have rest rooms, thinking rooms, break rooms, where they encourage people to take a nap. Talk about that, and then pat me on my back for my willingness every day to try and slip in a nap somewhere in the day. Tell me about that.
All right. So first of all, I'm patting you on the back virtually right now.
All right.
So here's what we know. I mean, you said it exactly right, that we have to take breaks more seriously, and that breaks are part of performance. And what we know is, I'll tell you how I think about this. I'll give you a different way to think about this. About 15 years ago or so, especially in certain kinds of organizations, certain kinds of companies, someone could come into the office and say, I pulled an all-nighter last night. I've only gotten 3 hours of sleep a night for the last week. And it was usually him. His colleagues would look at him and think that guy was a rock star because he was so devoted.
Right.
And what happened over the last 15 years? Sleep scientists began understanding a lot more about the purpose of sleep and the benefits of sleep. And a lot of that research ended up making it to the public realm. And so now, someone who pulls an all-nighter, someone who brags about being sleep-deprived, we don't look at that person as a hero. We look at that person as a fool. It's
right.
Like, dude, you're hurting your performance. You might be hurting my performance.
That's right.
So get some sleep. And I think that breaks are where sleep was 15 years ago. That there's an emerging science of breaks, and what it's showing us is that we should be taking more breaks. We should be taking certain kinds of breaks, and that this idea that the way to get more work done, the way to get better work done, is simply to power through. That powering through is effective. That powering through is virtuous. Is just not backed up by the science. What the science tells us is that human beings need breaks. And it's also giving us, though, some very good clues about what types of breaks are best. Now, there's a lot of research on napping showing that very short naps are very good for our mental acuity. Right. So naps between 10 and 20 minutes long. You nap longer than 20 minutes, you begin to develop what's called sleep inertia, which is that groggy, boggy feeling you get when you've slept a little bit too long in the middle of the day.
Right.
Now, not everybody can take naps based, in their workplace. So there are other kinds of breaks that are very restorative. And what we know some of the design principles at least. So what we know, for instance, is that, first of all, we know something is better than nothing.
Right.
So even a very, very short break is better than not taking a break at all. We know that social breaks are better than solo breaks. So
wow.
Breaks with other people are more restorative than breaks on our own. And this is true even for introverts, that I found surprising. We know that it's probably not a surprise to your listeners, but we know that breaks where you're moving around are better than breaks where you're stationary.
Right.
We know that breaks outside are more restorative than breaks inside. We know that the importance of being fully detached on a break. So a break is not, I'm going to go walk around and answer my email on my phone.
Right.
A break is truly a break. You don't bring your phone with you. Maybe you don't even talk about work. Mm-hmm. And so, and this is something that's at the fingertips of all of us, no matter how busy we are. If everybody, and I think the way around this is simply to schedule a break.
Wow.
So that I think that if everybody, your listeners can start off on this. It's a very easy thing to do. It's like every afternoon, schedule a break. Put it in your calendar. Say 3:15. I'm taking a break. And, take 10 or 15 minutes, go for a walk outside with someone you like, leaving your phone behind and talking about something other than work. If people do that, if everybody does that once an afternoon, I actually think you're going to have more productivity.
Wow. This is big, and I am impressed and inspired by this because I did it. I didn't know to do it. I just did it almost intuitively. Okay, and during the day I will stop and I'll go and just go and do something, read the newspaper, or have a lunch, or walk outside, or go for a drive to somewhere, just 10, 15 minutes. Or I literally take a break during the week as well, in terms of I don't go in the office. I am never going to office on Sundays. That's my day off, and I want to be refreshed on Monday. I want to go get them. I want to go at them, but I take family time. That's my family day. And if I'm speaking speaking somewhere, that's great because I love speaking, and it's almost as much fun as it is work. But I don't go to work. I don't go in the office. I don't look email. My friends know not to send me emails on Sunday. I'm not answering. So I think that's profound, this whole concept. Now, the book just goes into so many different areas. Talks about hidden patterns of the day, where you're most powerful, breaks, the beginning matters to the end, beginnings matter to the end, midpoints, how to push through, how to stop, when to stop, endings and their influence, the secret of group timing. Now, tell us a little bit about that. Group synchronicity. What is that?
Yeah, well, it's really about, how are teams able to synchronize in time, whether they're doing sort of complicated deliveries, whether they are a chorus singing, whether they are a rowing team where you move faster if you operate in sync. And it turns out that beneath the surface, there's some common rules of what it takes to synchronize. And also, there's some really compelling evidence showing that when we synchronize with other people in time, it actually makes us feel better, and it actually makes us more likely to do good deeds. It's pretty remarkable.
Wow. Again, folks, I've got Dan Pink on. Dan, again, we are in the last couple of minutes. Tell people where they can reach you, where they can get your books, and anything you want to tell them. If you've got a newsletter or anything like that you want to share.
Sure. I mean, the best place to start is to go to my website, which is www.danpink.com. I do have a newsletter. It's free. There are a lot of resources on there, videos and PDFs and all kinds of groovy recommendations and things. So that's the best. I think that's probably the best place to start. As for the books, you can find them on the website. You can also find them in any bookseller, either online or offline.
Wow. Well, this has been a tremendous, what I found out, let me tell you something I've learned in all the years of doing radio, is that the really good ones, the intriguing ones, they go quick. They go like, bam. If you start, it's almost before you know it, you're finished, because it's so intriguing, it's so captivating, compelling. And this was what that was. I'll have to have you at some point back. Dan Pink, you're a gentleman and a scholar, and I am honored to have you as part of our network, and we're going to find a time to connect and have some coffee, since we're almost neighbors. We're in a pretty close area. And thank you for coming. This is great information. Folks, get his books, get his materials, and call him in. Have him come speak for your organization. So thank you, Dan. I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks for having me, Willie. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Hang on for a second. Folks, I want to say to all of you that I thank all of you for being with me and staying with me and supporting me and telling your friends. Please do. Go to attitudeofexcellence.com, get your free chapter. jollymarriage.com, get your information on our marriage book. And then if you are not signed up to my newsletter, go to williejolly.com/gift. williejolly.com/gift. Get some of the free goodies and resources we have to help you have better success. And for those who wanted to learn more about goals, is williejolly.com/webinar. We're still doing the webinar for those who want to grow their success. This has been a great day, a great week, a great month. And remember, your best is still yet to come. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
Are you tired of crying and complaining? Tired of feeling like life don't treat you fair? Do you see so many others moving on while you're steady going nowhere? Have you maybe come to the conclusion that there's nothing at all that you can do? Well, just look in any mirror and you'll see who is really truly stopping you. My mind. It's up to every one of us to take charge of our life and to make it what we want. If you think that it takes too much time, think again, 'cause I'm telling you it don't. The fact is,
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.